And how involved were you on set and making sure that your vision was still intact?
I wasn't super involved. I'm not going to lie. I don't want to take any credit. I was on set for about 1 to 2 weeks, more as like a spectator. I was just there enjoying everything. And I felt like everyone that had a hand in this movie brought their own talent to it and their own passion. And I didn't want to get in the way of that. I probably maybe would have if I thought it was going in the wrong direction, but I never felt that way. So
Colleen Hoover's new movie Regretting You has not been doing well at all. The film came out last week, but instead of excitement, it's been met with disappointment and criticism. Many people online are calling it one of the worst book-to-movie adaptations of the year. On TikTok, dozens of viewers have shared videos saying how bad it was, with some joking that Hoover should be put in movie jail. People say the film has no clear story, confusing tones, and weak emotional impact. Even fans of Hoover's books, who were looking forward to this film, left theaters feeling let down. The movie's poor performance isn't just among audiences, it's also getting harsh reviews from critics. That's a big problem because critics often influence whether others decide to go see a film. Paramount didn't promote Regretting You much, and without a strong marketing push, it opened to low box office numbers. Compared to Hoover's earlier hit, It Ends With Us, the difference is shocking. It Ends With Us, despite behind-the-scenes drama involving stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, made over $350 million worldwide on a $25 million budget. In contrast, Regretting You barely made a dent. Many people believe the backlash isn't only because of the film itself, but also because audiences are getting tired of Colleen Hoover's storytelling style. Her books often mix romance, pain, and trauma in ways that some find emotionally manipulative. Viewers say Regretting You feels like a blend of genres that don't fit together. At times it seems like a romance, then suddenly a tragedy, then a family drama. The story jumps around so much that people aren't sure what they're supposed to feel. Hoover's plots also tend to touch on deep issues without exploring them fully, leaving characters and relationships feeling shallow. The movie's behind-the-scenes drama didn't help either. Hoover claimed she wasn't deeply involved in the film's production, but reports say she actually worked closely on editing with Blake Lively. When Lively later had a public feud with director Justin Baldoni, someone Hoover had long praised, Hoover suddenly sided with Lively and distanced herself from Baldoni. That move upset fans and made people question her honesty. The movie's story itself sounds emotional and full of potential. It follows a mother, Morgan, and her daughter, Clara, who are torn apart after a tragic car accident kills Morgan's husband and Clara's father. They soon discover that he was having an affair, which forces them to face painful family secrets while trying to heal their relationship. Unfortunately, critics say the movie doesn't do justice to that powerful idea. The emotional moments feel rushed or ignored, and the plot keeps jumping between the mother's grief and the daughter's teenage romance. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the movie feels uneven, awkward, and sometimes even careless in how it handles serious topics. Reviewers said the cast, including Allison Williams and Dave Franco, seemed lost and confused about how to act in scenes that shifted tone so often. In the end, Regretting You comes across as a messy, unoriginal attempt at mixing heartbreak and love without the depth needed to make it work. If It Ends With Us showed the best of Colleen Hoover's film adaptations, Regretting You might mark the end of the trend. Audiences seem ready for something new, stories with genuine emotion, not recycled heartbreaks and confusing plots. The movie Regretting You has received harsh criticism from nearly every major publication. Reviewers describe it as shallow, confused, and emotionally empty. Many critics compared it to Nicholas Sparks' films, saying it tries to copy his sentimental, small-town love stories, but without any real heart. Set in sunny North Carolina, the movie looks pleasant on the surface, but beneath that, it lacks emotional depth and smart storytelling. Critics say it feels like the filmmakers tried to create something warm and romantic, with a little scandal thrown in, but instead made something dull and lifeless. Major outlets like the Detroit News and New York Magazine said that Regretting You is almost impossible to take seriously because even the actors don't seem to know what kind of movie they're in. The tone constantly shifts from light and funny to sad and dramatic, without any natural flow. The humor feels forced, and emotional moments come across as fake. According to Vulture, the movie tries to show how people can still laugh in the middle of tragedy, but instead of feeling real, it feels rehearsed and awkward. The New York Times called the film predictable, formulaic, and clumsily edited, though it did praise the actors for doing their best with weak material. The Associated Press also mentioned that while the story deals with grief, the quick switches from crying to smiling to romantic comedy moments make the film feel weirdly uneven. Another reviewer from Movie Mom said the movie is soapy and bland, though slightly watchable only because of the cast. Slant Magazine criticized the strange choice to have Allison Williams and Dave Franco, both in their late 30s, playing teenage versions of their characters. Many of these issues are similar to what happened with Colleen Hoover's first big movie, It Ends With Us. That film also had trouble deciding whether it wanted to be a serious drama or a romantic comedy. In Regretting You, the story involves a car accident, death, and betrayal, but somehow the filmmakers still tried to make it feel light and cute. It's the same problem It Ends With Us had, where a story about domestic violence was turned into a charming romance. These tonal mismatches make audiences uncomfortable and confused. A big part of the backlash seems to be fatigue with Colleen Hoover herself. Her writing style mixes pain, trauma, and humor, but not in a way that feels thoughtful or consistent. Her books are often criticized for portraying toxic relationships and weak female characters. Fans who once loved her work now say her stories feel repetitive and emotionally manipulative. Because of that, her movies are struggling to connect with viewers who want something real and meaningful. Before all the drama between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, It Ends With Us was a major success, earning $350 million worldwide on a $25 million budget. But Regretting You made only $12.9 million during its opening weekend, a massive drop that suggests audiences may be losing interest in Hoover's stories. Critics say the issue isn't just the acting or direction, it's the source material itself. The constant mix of sadness, comedy, and romance doesn't work on screen. People don't go to movies to feel every possible emotion at once. They want a clear story that makes sense. In the end, Regretting You fails because it tries to do too much and ends up doing nothing well. The problems surrounding Colleen Hoover's movies seem to be part of something much bigger. Many viewers are simply tired of her and her work. The drama that unfolded after It Ends With Us made people see her in a different light. When fans noticed how she switched sides during conflicts, they felt she betrayed people who had supported her. Even though Hoover became famous on BookTok and sold millions of novels, not every author can make the jump to Hollywood successfully. It takes a studio willing to take a risk, and Wayfarer Studios did exactly that when they decided to adapt her books into films. People now feel that Hoover turned her back on the very team that helped her reach the big screen. After working with Wayfarer and director Justin Baldoni for years, she distanced herself from them once controversy began. Fans saw this as ungrateful, especially considering how much effort the studio had invested in her career. But the disappointment wasn't only about loyalty, it was also about how she handled sensitive themes like domestic violence. In both the book and the movie version of It Ends With Us, many critics said the topic was treated carelessly and used more as a plot device than an issue worth exploring seriously. Because of this, the entire franchise became known more for its scandals than its story. What should have been a powerful film about abuse and resilience instead turned into gossip about behind-the-scenes drama and poor marketing choices. Even Blake Lively, who starred in the film, received backlash. Many believe the problem began with how the story itself was marketed, as if it were a romantic comedy instead of a serious drama. Turning such a painful subject into something cute upset a lot of people. The so-called Blake Lively effect seems to have worsened Hoover's situation. Since their collaboration, her reputation has been tied to controversy, and it's hurting her other projects. She has a few more film adaptations planned, including one with Anne Hathaway, but studios might think twice before moving forward. When movies start losing money, and an author's name becomes linked to bad press, studios often walk away. Regretting You hasn't made enough to cover its costs, which means it could end up being a financial loss. This failure shows that audiences might not be interested in Hoover's kind of storytelling anymore. Her books often center on women in pain who need men to save them. That kind of story used to be popular, but in today's world, where people want stronger, more empowering female characters, it feels outdated. Many viewers are ready for something new, something that doesn't romanticize trauma or rely on old cliches. Some people think Hoover's downfall might come slowly, not from one big scandal, but from a series of disappointing releases and negative feedback. It's hard to cancel a best-selling author, but public opinion is clearly shifting. If her next movies fail too, it might mark the end of her time as Hollywood's favorite romance writer. For now, audiences seem to be saying they've had enough of stories that glorify pain and call it love. Leave a comment below, give this video a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss an update.